You might have just heard of the sad passing of Quentin Willson. On the 8th of November, he was aged 68 years old. Now, I had the privilege of meeting Quentin Willson and debating him on the topic of electric cars. He's on the electric car side, I am not. Now, I wanted somebody, big in this industry to debate on electric cars. So I was searching for people and big names. Now, speaking to an agent or manager, and obviously he's a professional, so he was very big, inside that sector, and he was saying that you're not going to manage to get Jeremy Clarkson or James May or Quentin Willson because they're either too busy or they're going to charge you a fortune or they're just not going to do it. So, I mean, it's fair to him, he's probably right there. But I thought, well, I'll keep going. So I managed to get hold of Quentin Willson and I asked him, would he be interested in doing a debate with me? And he said yes, just like straight up yes. So I was like, well, that's surprising. I had about 3 weeks before the debate, so obviously I learnt as much as I could because obviously I'm dealing with a professional here and obviously he's got full life experience with it. So I had to, learn as much as I could. But I got there and straight away, it was absolute gem. He was absolutely wonderful. We were at this lovely hotel, a stunning place, and it was just like such an experience to be with him. But my mother said to me before this interview, she said that he's probably going to ask you a question back because obviously usually, used to asking people questions, and if they do ask me a question, usually it's quite a light-hearted one like about performing or something. But obviously I'm dealing with an expert, so if he's going to ask me a question, it's probably going to be quite a difficult answer and quite a difficult subject. So I wasn't quite prepared for the fact he was going to ask me quite so early on inside the interview. He asked me a question, so I'm going to show the clip. Obviously, I was quite, a bit thrown back from that. But it shows the fact that he's interested and, he's genuine because if he's, actually curious, he's not just, thinking, right, let's get all these questions over and done with. He's actually, interested in knowing what I think and also finding out more about this subject. And as I say, we debated him, and obviously me being young, I thought, well, my mother said, he's going to be softer on you, but he's not going to not be fully soft because obviously he's got his reputation to keep and he's wanting to actually have a proper debate. So obviously I was stuttering like mad because it's quite a difficult subject, and I'm obviously, talking to somebody like Quentin, obviously a bit starstruck. But he was so nice to me. He was so calm and wasn't bothered by the fact that I was stuttering, and because of I'm dyslexic, I'd have to look at my papers sometimes and I would be there trying to read it for ages. So he was absolutely star with it, and he was just such a genuine person. And I even said to him, because I happened to have met another Top Gear presenter but just 2 days before him, Paddy McGuinness, because he was biking through, and I was like, can you believe I've met two of you within such a short period of time? And he's like, yeah, but we got to realise we are just normal people, we're no different to you or I, we're completely normal people, and he is, he's just so genuine. So I'm just basically, this is a complete tribute to him, and I'll just show you a few clips of the interview and stuff, but honestly, Quentin is a complete star. Today we are here to discuss the topic of electric cars, and obviously you're on the electric car side and I am on the sort of petrol and diesel side, so we're going to have a little discussion. Hopefully we won't go into a row and we won't come out here fighting each other, but it should be a good day.
Good. So look, let's begin. Why don't you like electric cars?
Well, I just don't really feel like the fact of that they are necessarily as good for the environment as they are saying. And I've always been brought up with the diesel and petrol side, and I've seen, my brother's a mechanic, for example, so I've seen how it actually all works. I just don't necessarily think it's either the best way, and I don't like them as much. Okay. So, but also the fact of, I just don't necessarily feel as comfortable with electric cars as I do with diesel and petrol.
Have you ever been in an electric car?
I've been in a hybrid, yeah.
A hybrid, but not a proper, like a Tesla or something?
No.
Okay, well, I'd say to you, first of all, Matilda, you've got to be in something like that.
Now, not only was Quentin Willson very well known inside the TV world, which in itself is a fair achievement, but he went on top of that by being a fierce campaigner and believing in what he was fighting for when he co-founded Fair Fuel UK, which did a massive achievement of saving the taxpayer over 100 billion in VAT and tax duty, which is absolutely out of this world. And the Guardian say this is the most successful political lobbying campaign in modern history. Now, he joined the BBC in 1991 to co-host Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson. Now, not only was he so clever, the fact that he could talk about these vehicles and talk about them so smoothly, but he could do it inside a comedy effect as well, as you'll see a few clips here.
But here he is. Let's have a little look at him first. Back in 1997 with Jeremy Clarkson and Tiff Needle.
Tiff, you are in no position to lecture me on style dressed in a shirt like that.
And you are in your faded blue jeans with your Ray Wilkins haircut.
Tiff, the Corvette will do 175 miles an hour.
If I may interrupt, in a straight line, what happens, Tiff, if you get to a corner in a Corvette?
You crash.
Exactly.
Look, it will do 60 in 4.9 seconds. That is just 0.2 of a second slower than your Jaguar.
I love this bit inside the clip. I didn't feel it at all.
Drive a corniche, you waft, and you are literally just floating. There's a speed bump here. Did you feel that? I didn't feel it at all.
Started his career off by buying and selling cars, and then that went on for him to start writing for the magazine and buying cars in 1990s, which meant he got interviewed by a lot of major news outlets, which John Bentley must have noticed him through, because of then he went for a screen test, and he also obviously got along well with Clarkson, so he went on to do Top Gear for 15 years, and he also went on to create and produce and host a lot of TV shows such as Britain's Worst Driver.
Very stressed about this, particularly Kay, and my stomach is just doing somersaults. London's drivers, we've plastered the challenge car with our special livery.
Just going forward, am I?
Yes, Bex, that's the general idea.
You've got some navigational issues, both you and your mum. You just went off in all directions, and I know it was towards the quality shops, but, you know, we wanted you to come back.
Craig seems more concerned about the car than the route.
I got to stop and ask people, is this part of the task? I say, oh mate, can you read the sign? Is that part of the task?
Target, she's a target, get out of my way, what are you doing? It just came out and nobody was in the car.
He also got Best Factual Programme Award nomination from the Royal Television Society for his work in The Car, The Star, which he worked in from 1994 to 1999.
And lasted it has. 4 decades later, and the 2CV is still with us, alive and well. It might be the world's most maligned and misunderstood motorcar, but as far as I'm concerned, these are dead good.
Quentin changed the way that journalists talk about cars, and he also was a fearless campaigner, and I will never forget the experience I had with him and the honour that he actually did. That was absolutely unbelievable. He could have easily said no to me and said, you know, just could not even answered basically, but he didn't. He did it, and I have full absolute respect for him. He's a great man, and the things he's done is absolutely wonderful. But I'm not going to let him off the hook that easily, because of, yes, he's done all these achievements, but he has failed at one thing, which is his dancing. I personally think he did quite well, to be honest, but clearly the judges didn't. But anyway, here's what I'm talking about. As I say, Quentin Willson is always up for a challenge, and I'm sure he will always hold the record for the lowest score on Prickly Come Dancing.
It was dreadful.
I did.
Absolutely dreadful.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's as good as it gets.